He slid the paper in front of me with a grin that reeked of arrogance. "Sign it now," he said, his voice oily, smug. My wife smirked at me like she'd already buried me. The lawyer, her boyfriend, leaned back, whispering loud enough for the court reporter to hear. "The judge is my friend. You're leaving this room with nothing, soldier." I sat still, silent, and they mistook my silence for fear. But I wasn't afraid. I was calculating. I had met her when the world was quieter, before deployments, before the scars, before war turned me into a man who measured everything in risks and odds. She was my peace, or so I thought. We built a life, or at least the shape of one. Laughter in the mornings, whispered plans at night. I had placed my trust in her hands without armor, without defense. She was the one person I believed wouldn't stab me in the back. And yet, here I was, watching her smile as another man, her lover, tried to strip away what little remained of me. I didn't stumble onto the truth. I noticed it, like a sniper spotting movement in the distance. The late-night work calls, the perfume that wasn't hers lingering in my truck after she borrowed it, the way she locked her phone, even in the house we shared. But the final proof came wrapped in laughter. I had come home early from training. She didn't hear me at first. I stood in the hallway, watching through a half-open door as she whispered into the phone, giggling like a schoolgirl. "Don't worry, baby," she said. "He never suspects a thing." Her boyfriend's name lit the screen. A lawyer, smug, sharp, slippery. And suddenly, everything in our marriage snapped into focus. Pain burned hot at first, but it cooled quickly. Pain is useless in battle. You need clarity, strategy. I decided then I wouldn't confront. I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't give them the satisfaction. I would watch. I would plan. Soldiers learn to gather intelligence before they strike. I applied the same rule to her. First, surveillance. A discreet GPS tracker in her car. Keystroke software on her laptop. Access to her emails. I collected evidence like a patient predator. Photos, bank statements, hotel receipts, love notes written in legal letterhead. Second, financial restructuring. While she laughed with him, I rerouted assets. Opened accounts in places she'd never know existed. Transferred savings. Liquidated what I could. I left crumbs in plain sight, enough for her to believe I was careless. Third, legal positioning. I sought out a lawyer of my own, one she'd never anticipate. Not a friend of the judge. A man who thrived on silence until the kill shot. And finally, the will. I rewrote it, shifting everything toward my sister, my niece. If my wife thought she'd inherit the life we built, she was wrong. I said nothing. I smiled at dinners, kissed her cheek, made love when she initiated, all while laying mines beneath her feet. Court day came. She was radiant, smug, dressed like a widow before the funeral. The lawyer at her side had his hand brushing hers, confident no one saw. But I did. I saw everything. He slid the divorce agreement forward. "Sign," he said. "Walk away quietly, or we'll bury you." I took the pen, held it, let silence stretch until the room grew uncomfortable. Then I placed the pen down and leaned back. "No," I said, "just that. Calm, final." The lawyer chuckled. "You don't have a choice." But he didn't know I had already delivered every piece of evidence I collected to the state bar. Photos of them together while he handled my wife's legal matters. Emails proving conflict of interest. Recordings of conversations that blurred lines between law and crime. 3 days earlier, an anonymous packet had landed on the desk of the disciplinary committee. Another to the judge's office. Another to his wife. So while he smirked across the table, a marshal entered the courtroom, whispered into the judge's ear, and handed over a sealed envelope. I watched the judge's face harden, color draining. He glanced at the lawyer, then at my wife, then at me. Court adjourned. It unraveled fast after that. The lawyer's license suspended pending investigation. His firm cut ties with him. His marriage imploded when his wife filed her own papers, citing adultery. As for my wife, the house, the accounts, the life she thought she'd inherit, gone. Every document proved premeditated infidelity. She walked away with nothing but debt. I remember her face when she realized it, eyes wide, mouth open, gasping for air like a drowning victim. You knew?" she whispered. I only smiled. From the start. It's been months now. I live quieter. Smaller house, fewer possessions. But everything I own is truly mine. Do I regret it? Not once. A soldier knows you can't always stop betrayal, but you can decide how it ends. She thought silence meant weakness. He thought arrogance meant power. They were both wrong. My silence was the sharpest blade I owned, and when I struck, it was clean, final. I left that courtroom